Welcome to Dual Podcast, where real conversations happen, real growth begins, and real people speak. Today, we have a special guest. Today I am the guest and I'm alone. The topic is interesting topic. It's about attraction and stable relationships. I know that sounds a bell to so many people who are looking for attraction and looking for stable relationship. So quickly, what is attraction? What is it that attracts people to each other? What attracts you? One, we talk about physical. Physical is one of the first things that attract people to each other. And by the way, that's natural. The way God created people and animals, by the way, so that they'll be able to attract each other. But let me talk about people today. What attracts people is one, beauty, physical appearance, physical attraction. And you know, that is diverse. There's some people who like brown people, others like dark people, others like tall, short. Others, I know people who love fat people. Then those who want thin, skinny, or slim people. People have diverse tastes, yeah? But there's that physical that usually comes first, yeah? The way we were created, in teenage, remember, you grow up as a child. When you reach teenage, between 13 and 18, your body changes. So we are created so that we can be able, at some point, to attract each other, yeah? Boys and girls, men and women. From the age of around 11, 12, 13, girls and boys enter a period where their body changes, yeah? There are changes. We call these changes, the medical term is secondary sexual characteristics, yeah? Where you find if you're a lady, you're a girl, you'll become, your voice changes, your figure changes, you develop the figure 8. For those who have figure 8, we have different figures, right? Breasts develop, the skin is smooth, and they are even aware of themselves. They even have menstruation, you know? And what of the guys? The guys develop physical characteristics, physical growth. You find the muscles develop, the shoulders, the voice changes. And even them, they are aware. At that time, even they start a kind of a walk, you know, that the parents know, aha, hapa, iko kitu. By the way, that is not just an accident. That is natural because they are the hormones. Yeah, and most of us are taught this in school. I think it's secondary school, right? So the hormones fill you with fire so that the girls become more aware of their bodies and the guys become more aware of their bodies as well. And at some point, they start getting attracted to the opposite sex, yeah? So physical attraction is natural, yeah? And that happens, and hopefully by that time, we hope you finish school, yeah, safely and peacefully, is when now, as they go out, people start looking for partnerships. People start looking for friends. So there's that physical attraction which comes first. Then, after that, you meet somebody you like, you're attracted to, then the character. So once people meet, they start now looking for character. So character has a role to play in attraction. I know people who, you liked somebody, they were physically beautiful, but what happened? The character of the person, they just took off, yeah? So once you pass the stage of physical, there's the stage where you now learn the character of person, yeah? And if the character is attractive, then you find a relationship is now perhaps in the beginning stage. What are the things that make a character attractive? Confident, like girls like confident guy, concerned, a good communicator, you know how to talk. You've seen guys who, they are different. There are guys who, when you just see a girl, you cannot talk, yeah? And then there are guys who, they just know what to say and where that girl is, she's keen. So confidence, communication, show concern, show caring. Girls, I hope you're listening. Am I right? Yeah? there are things that girls admire. Yeah. Communication, caring, concern. So those are some of the qualities that girls like. What about the guys? They like girls who admire them, respect them, trust them. Imagine you're with a guy and you feel so insecure. It's like you don't trust your security, your safety. You don't trust them. Then you find a lot of the girls feel uncomfortable. So guys like to be trusted, to know that the girl feels secure in their presence. Yeah. Yeah. And to know that they're in control, they're in charge. So, of course, sometimes at this stage, you find some things go wrong. Yeah. Where the guy fails to be trustworthy. He will take you for a drink. Before long, he's saying, let's go to my room. And before long, he's even laced your drink. Before long, you wake up somewhere, you don't even know what happened. And those are mistakes. Those are wrong. Yeah. But if you can pass the phase of trusting your partner, yeah, then the next phase is now where you actually start the relationship, where you get to know each other. Who is this guy? Yes, he looks good. Yeah. Yes, he has a good character, but who is he really? So this phase of getting to know each other comes next, where you go out, maybe have a cup of tea and find out about the person. What are his likes, his dislikes? What about his family? What does he do? Yeah. What are the things he enjoys? What are the hobbies? Yeah. And those are just the early phases where you get to know each other. The guy wants to know more about the girl, her family, her hobbies, her work, the things she likes, the movies she likes, the songs, the music she likes watching, etc., etc. So the stage of getting to know each other. Now that may vary. For some people, it will be a week, others a month, others a year. It depends. The longer, the better, the more likely that you're going to get to know somebody. Yeah? So once you pass that stage of getting to know each other, then friendship stage comes next. It's important that once you know each other, try to become friends. A lot of you guys have friends. You have friends, bestie, yeah? But this partner, this future partner, this person you're looking to have a stable relationship has to be a friend. Others, ukichukua shortcut, umempenda and you want to have a stable relationship, you're not going to have a very stable relationship without friendship. Yeah? So make friends with the person. At this point, you're comfortable, you can talk. You don't have to try to pretend, you are yourself. You can discuss anything. Yeah? You enjoy each other's company. He can even take you shopping. If you're sick, he can visit you in a hospital. He can even at this stage come home and say hi. And at this point, parents should allow their children to bring friends in so that as a parent, you can check on this friend of so-and-so. Okay, it's a friend. You engage them, they are there, but you're checking. You're checking from the side. You're not checking at unaangalia mko aje, but you can just be doing your things in the house, but you're checking. Yeah? So that you get an idea of the kind of friend that your son or daughter is entertaining. Yeah? So now that friendship stage, yeah, hoping it goes well, yeah? Then we go to the next stage, which is now feelings. A lot of the time, if you are meant for each other, at this stage, you start getting feelings. It's not just a friend. When you see him call, your heart beats a bit fast. Eh? When you anticipate that he's coming to visit you for tea, you get excited. Yeah? And by the way, that is brain chemistry. At the time now you start getting feelings, there's a hormone called dopamine. Yeah? It's a nice feeling, a feel nice hormone. There's another one called oxytocin. Yeah? And others called serotonin, feel happy hormones. They start rising. Yeah? Then things are beginning to happen. So now, but this stage you've got to be very careful, because at this stage where feelings and hormones are rising, body chemistry can lead to problems. Yeah? Because a lot of the time, that's the time now watu wanataka waende walale pamoja, they are not ready, mtu anakuwa pregnant, mwingine hii. That is something that one has to really be aware of and avoid at this time because of consequences. If that happens at the wrong time, you find in a relationship and that relationship dies. Yeah. So that stage of attraction is a stage that one has to pass through. And by the time you pass through, you realize you kind of desire each other. You enjoy your company. You feel happy. You want to now talk about dating and commitment to each other. Yeah? Can you be my girlfriend? Can you be my boyfriend? Okay, let us try it out. Yeah. Okay. Sasa mna try it out, mnaenda dates, you get to know each other. That's the time also you'll invite them home. Yeah. It's very important at this stage. If you decide to date with somebody, visit them at home. What kind of life do they live? You can visit your boyfriend at home and you find huko, hawaongei, ama at that home, there's funny behavior. People are not friendly. People are not talking. Nobody welcomes you. It gives you an idea of the background of this particular friend or boyfriend. And you have to raise concern. This may be a red flag. So visiting your boyfriend, visiting your girlfriend at home, it's so important. It's so important to know the relationship, of your partner with his family members. Yeah, because it can be a telltale sign of how somebody really is, somebody's real character. There are people who hide where. They are angels, but now when it comes to actually staying with somebody, you find it's a different story, yeah? And we cannot ignore that, yeah? Also, make an effort to know their friends. What kind of friends do they hang out with? Because friends are one of the groups who destroy a lot of marriages. There are guys who get into stable relationships or get into marriage, but you find they have not really left their friends. They are more married to their friends than to the wife, yeah? And then again, it's important, and vice versa. There are wives who have very funny kind of friends who the guy has got to know and meet and know the kind of friends she has. Yeah, because it gives you an idea of the kind of people that your partner is hanging out with. And it's so important. It's so important to know the kind of friends because they are likely to also influence your marriage. At this stage of dating, guys, you have to know whether you're going to be compatible or not. You can both be good people, but you're not compatible. Completely. It means that character, compatibility is very, very important and diverse in different people. Yeah. And it's not to say that you're a bad person. Yeah. And one of the factors that I cannot pass without telling you or emphasizing is spirituality. For any stable relationship, in my experience as a counselor and a mental health expert, for many years, I've found relationships without a spiritual foundation and spiritual compatibility. It's like it's a non-starter. I know a lot of guys will just say, what is she saying? We don't need God, what? But the truth be told, yeah? So at this stage of dating, you search your spiritual status, both of you, because that is extremely, extremely important. We're going to take a short break as we continue to the next part. See you.
Even when I walk through the storm, you never changed, but remained faithful, dear Lord. I thought it's over on my side, but you showed me it was not my end. When I had nothing left to give, Lord, you gave me strength to live again. Oh, faithful God, you never change. Yesterday, today, and forever, you never change. you're the same. Inemi when waricho nyasayo, woro maler. Inemi kedonwa wanyithindi, Baba.
Welcome back, viewers. And we were talking about the stages of forming stable relationship. So when you pass the stage of dating, then commitment stage. Mark, you're heading towards the marriage stage. Yeah? Commitment stage, you have to know that you'll be able at this stage to trust each other. You'll be able to communicate well. There are couples right now who got married, and I'm telling you, they constantly have problems because one person is saying this, another person, they are not communicating. You know, communication is two-way. Ama, you find communication in one way. Communication, this guy will say this and this and this, final. He's the one who makes all the decisions. That's not healthy. Communication should be two-way. You talk together, you agree together, and from there, you're going to also move to the stage of dealing with challenges and problems. If you have not gone through the stage of dealing with challenges and problems, then you know you cannot make a decision until you go through that. Because sometimes the true colors of a character arise there. So when things are bad, maybe you're broke, or you find somebody has lost his job, you know, or somebody has lost her job for that matter, or there's a problem. And that now the real character of somebody can come out at that time. You might find you try to come in and say, now, can we sit down and discuss these issues and solve them? Ati what? I'm not talking anything. And he walks out, you know? Yeah, it tells you that's a red flag. Because marriage, there are just so many problems that you'll encounter. Yeah, it's not just a honeymoon, okay? So you have to pass a stage where you disagree. Even you can disagree and say, no, me, I like red. No, me, I like purple. I want red. I like purple. How do you resolve whether we will have red or purple? You might even decide, sweetie, okay, this time let's have red, next time purple. Sawa, yes, I love you, sawa. That is a very good way of solving problems, you know. I mean, that's an example. But you must go through the stage of disagreeing, go through the stage of hardships, yeah? Go through the stage of lows and highs, yeah? So if you can pass through those stages and still be stable and still be friends, then you know you're heading towards a stable relationship, yeah? Then once you pass that stage, there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel, eh? I know you're already thinking, Rurashio, oh, my best man, You're heading towards now making a decision on formalizing that stable relationship. Formalizing, we're talking about marriage, yeah? And that's a very nice, if you can reach there, it's really enjoyable. It's very nice. It's fun, yeah? And that gives you the confidence. And what I would say is that by the time you're reaching that stage, both of you should have known your family, you should have encountered or met the family and the parents of each other, yeah? And both of you should have had an idea of where you come from. You know, in many communities, there are clans that cannot get married, you know, because you find your relatives. And it's very crazy for you to meet a stranger in town, decide you're marrying, you don't even know his background, you don't know his relatives, you don't know where he comes from. Why? Because you might find it's a brother or a relative or somebody, guys. So you need to know the parents and where they come from, yeah, their roots, yeah. I know some people say that's old-fashioned, but I'm telling you, that is never old-fashioned. It's worth it, yeah. So once you reach there and you have to have a blessing from your in-laws, your parents need to bless that relationship by the time now you're settling in to get married. In my experience as a therapist, I've encountered come we stay relationships. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying all come we stay relationships are bad, but they can be quite rocky. And a lot of the problems that bring them to us for counseling, you find it's because the foundation, the way they started was wrong. They didn't know each other's families. They just left their homes and decided to elope, yeah? There was no foundation there. There was no spiritual foundation. There was no blessing. There were no cultural uh, practices. There are these rituals, these practices that are very, very healthy, that are traditional. For example, the Luo, you have something called a year where you visit the home of the girl, see the parents, yeah, and take them a few gifts here and there. And that is a necessary event, yeah, that enables you to know that the parents have accepted you and they have agreed to release their beautiful daughter to you. And then with the Kikuyu, they have Rurashio and others, and each community have those. And those traditions are valuable because the community knows, these two love each other, these two are taking each other seriously. If the community don't know, then you're staying together as who and who. If there's a problem, how do they even solve the problem? They don't get involved. Yeah. So it's very important that the community gives a blessing, and it's through these rurashios, these are years, these ceremonies, that the community are now aware and give their tick and your parents' blessing. If your parents are not there, there must be a representative on your father's side or your mother's side. A representative who will come and represent a parent. The beauty about African culture is that we always had fathers and mothers, you know. If it's not just your biological parents, you had your aunties and uncles. And even if it's not there, there's always somebody nearest, yeah? And that's why relatives and extended families are important. Sometimes we live in town and we say, I don't need to know my grandmother, my father. Me, I'm in town, niko sawa. I don't need to even know my uncle or auntie. What for? I'm telling you, they are valuable. In case your parents are not there, there has to be somebody to make a decision. Supposing muna disagree, muna pigana, you get married, you're fighting, you're at war. What's the next step? Call in your relatives. You can't talk together if your best man or best friends cannot reconcile you. The father's side relatives and the mother's side come in, the aunties, the parents, and reconcile you guys. That is the way it is, yeah? But if you don't know your uncles, you don't even talk to them, you don't go there, you don't visit them, then suddenly you're calling them because your guy is throwing you out because of some chick, where is me? You know, you look ridiculous, honestly. You really look ridiculous. So that extended family, the traditional practices, they will remain, and they are very valuable. They are very valuable in African society. So once you've reached that stage, now you can actually now start planning for the big day. So please avoid Can We Stay? Yeah. And those of you in Can We Stay, you still have time to formalize it. I'm not saying now part ways and go back. You can do that temporary so that you can now follow the right procedure. So there's a kind of a foundational blessing, you know, from the community, from God and all the concerned parties. Yeah. And that enable you to have a stable relationship and a marriage. So there are some questions that people ask. One, what about love at first sight? Isn't it enough to just get married? There a few cases of love at first sight have worked out, but I think when you look at it percentage-wise, they are very few. Because the love at first sight, you are attracted physically, but then you don't know the character of the person. You don't know their weaknesses and strengths. You have not even had a chance of testing how you disagree with each other and solve problems. So you find that that doesn't work. After 3 months, somebody's already bored with your beauty and your handsomeness. So now there has to be something more to hold you together. That is friendship, character, all that is missing. So love at first sight can be a beginning for a relationship, but you still need to go through the stages. You need those stages. They are very important. Yeah. Then somebody is asking, what of, can you marry a man whom you're earning more money than the man? Can you have a stable relationship where you're earning more or you're more well off than the man? Well, that is a good question. And the truth is, from my experience, is that there are many women, many men, many men earn more than women. But the truth is, there are many women, including marriages, where many women own more than their men. And that's what people don't realize. It is quite common, yeah? But what is it? What holds these relationships or marriages together is that the woman still continues to respect the man, yeah? Continues, yeah, to play her role really as her, because in any family, in any relationship, there has to be one leader. You can't be, now I'm earning more than you, I am the leader of this home, so whenever there's a crisis somewhere, mama so and so solve. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let the men carry that mantle, yeah. And again, it's so important as ladies, when you're earning more than men, you don't just go always beating your chest. I know women who decide they're not cooking for their spouses because they're earning more than the man, or the man is jobless. So they actually mistreat the man. Yet that could be temporary. The guy could be temporarily out of a job. Yeah. Tomorrow it will be you. And I've come across cases where the lady now earns more, then all of a sudden she loses, or all of a sudden her guy now gets a job. In fact, it's even worse than that, because she was earning more, they separated, she chased the guy out, then she hears, amepata kazi, akona gari, akona nini, then she wants to go back. And that happens, you know. So that money should not be the only factor. Money should not be the only factor, okay? So I think a deep relationship, a friendship, earning more or earning less should not be a factor, yeah? But it's so good that both of you are stable financially, or you both agree. I've come couples where the wife decides, okay, all these children are so young, let me sacrifice and look after these children. You pay the house, look after us, you know? And the guy is understanding, you know? But yet there are times when the guy now feels, let me harass this woman, she's not bringing anything. He's not seeing that looking after these kids, looking after the house, cooking, cleaning is much work. Yet it is, if you are to pay somebody a salary who's looking after your babies. And right now we have house helps who are abusive. I'm handling cases where house helps have abused children, boy and girl, you know. So sometimes that housewife is absolutely necessary for that time, yeah. So those are just some of the factors I'd like to emphasize. The next question is sex before marriage. Is it okay that you find someone you're dating and now you want just to have sex for fun? There are risks. You know, from the spiritual point of view, it is encouraged, and I understand why, that you keep yourself pure until the day you decide to go together. Yeah? And it's good because a lot of the times, guys are funny. Sometimes when you have had a girl, you know, something loses. There's something that is lost in that event. You know, you have sex with a girl. Maybe even that time you have not even become friends. You have not even developed the feelings. You just liked the physical beauty and the character, and quickly you're sleeping with each other. Dignity and self-respect goes down the drain. And I see teachers in school sometimes teaching the school kids, make sure you're not going to be treated like tissue paper in a toilet. If you go with a guy and you allow him to do things to you like that, he's treating you like tissue paper. And literally, the dignity and the respect that guy will have for you, yeah, he starts to hamper you. And worse still, he will even boast to some friends. I'm not saying all guys, but some even boast to some friends, you know, that one, I've had her. It's a competition, how many more? So you stand to lose so much. You lose so much respect, you lose so much dignity, and the girls get more depressed because your self-worth, your self-value, you feel like trash. When you feel like trash, you're more likely to get depression, suicidal, and we get a lot of young people with depressed and suicidal, yeah? So guys, it's good to reach when you reach that time where you want to sleep with a guy, let it be when you're both ready and prepared and it is approved, where you've had your marriage, yeah? And you've gone through those necessary stages, yeah? So, guys, I've enjoyed talking to you. If you need any information, there's a number on this screen that you can actually call, and I'm happy to be able to do counseling to people, to youth, to individuals on matters concerning stable relationships. If this conversation moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another person. Stay real, keep growing, and we'll catch you in the next podcast. Thank you.